Congress acted and one crisis was averted. But how does it happen that it's affecting your wallet? And also, what is next? ABC's White House correspondent John Karl has done some math.
It finally passed.
The motion is adopted.
But not before a political bloodbath. At one point, the Speaker of the House telling the top Senate Democrat to essentially buzz off, but using language we can't use on television. But it was Speaker Boehner who had to save the deal late last night, fending off a revolt of his own party and putting his job on the line, supporting something opposed by the vast majority of his fellow Republicans. Now that it's passed, what does it mean to you? For the first time in more than 20 years, you'll see tax increases on the wealthy. For Taylor Swift, who made an estimated $57 million last year, that's nearly $2.6 million in new taxes. Warren Buffett, who famously paid a lower tax rate than his secretary, will also take a hit. On an estimated earnings of $63 million, he'll pay at least an extra $2 million thanks to an increase in the capital gains tax. For those making under $400,000, no income tax hike. But your paycheck will still take a hit because the Social Security payroll tax cut passed 2 years ago is now gone. For workers earning $50,000, that will mean $1,000 less in their paychecks over the next year. And the bill extends unemployment benefits for some 2 million people looking for work. But even as that was resolved, a political firestorm erupted over what Congress has failed to do, adjourning without passing an aid bill for victims of Hurricane Sandy.
When the rug was pulled out from under us, absolutely inexcusable, absolutely indefensible.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd. Shame on you, Mr. Speaker.
The failure to even vote on the $60 billion bill prompted an outburst from New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
66 days and counting. Shame on you. Shame on Congress.
His wrath aimed squarely at Republican leaders in Congress.
They forget. We sent them there. We sent them there to do the work for us, not to sit down there and play with each other.
All that sound and fury apparently paid off. Late today, Speaker of the House John Boehner said that aid to victims of Hurricane Sandy would be the first priority of the new Congress, which gets sworn in tomorrow. The first vote for Sandy victims, Diane, coming on Friday.
All right, John, thank you. But let me ask you this. We've had relief now about one crisis averted, but when is the next one? What's the calendar?
Well, we have potentially 3 fiscal cliffs coming up. The first one comes next month when the government is at risk of defaulting on its debt unless Congress raises the amount of money the government can borrow. The next, those automatic spending cuts happen on March 1st. Unless Congress acts, that means potentially hundreds of thousands of government employees put at risk. And finally, funding for the government itself runs out on March 27th unless the White House can get some cooperation with Republicans in Congress.
That's a mega cliff coming. Okay, thank you so much, John.